I kept it from Scarlett, my girlfriend of 7 years, when I agreed to my parents' arrangement for me to go home and marry Chloe Vanderbilt, a woman in a coma. But I had grown up with Scarlett and my childhood friend, Maya, and the three of us had always been incredibly close. That all changed one day when we were on a trip and got caught in a flash flood. The imposter son, Leo, not only took credit for me saving their lives, but he also lied and said I had abandoned them to save myself. From that day on, they sided with him in everything, bullying me for his sake. I tried to explain, I tried to fight for them to see the truth, believing that one day they would recognize Leo for who he really was. But all I got in return was one painful betrayal after another. I was tired. I just wanted to leave and never see either of them again for the rest of my life. The wedding was scheduled in 2 weeks, and I told my parents I'd be home beforehand. I had just hung up the phone when Leo, the imposter son, showed up. The moment I saw him, my gut told me nothing good was about to happen. I wanted to run, but it was too late. "Ethan, I'm begging you, just leave me alone," he pleaded. "I never knew that after you went missing, your parents would find me to be your replacement. I didn't mean to steal your life." With a loud splash, he threw himself into the adjacent swimming pool. Over the past 3 years, he had pulled similar stunts, framing me for things I didn't do, more times than I could count. I had gone from scoffing at his pathetic attempts to being utterly exhausted by them, trying desperately to stay out of his way. I wanted to call for help immediately, to get him out of the water and end this ridiculous drama before Scarlett or Maya saw us. If they did, I wouldn't be able to explain my way out of it. But Leo had timed it perfectly. The moment he hit the water, my girlfriend, Scarlett, came running. "How could you be so cruel?" Her eyes were filled with disappointment as she and her bodyguards jumped into the pool after him, not even giving me a chance to explain. We had been together for 7 years. She was the person I was closest to in the world. Didn't she know what kind of person I was? Why did she believe Leo every single time he claimed I'd hurt him? This wasn't the first time she had misjudged me, but no matter how often it happened, I could never get used to the sting. Swallowing my frustration, I knelt by the edge of the pool, wanting to help. But just then, Maya heard the commotion and rushed over. She kicked me furiously from behind, sending me straight into the water. "If anything happens to Leo, I swear, you'll pay for it." Maya stared at me, her eyes bloodshot with rage, looking like she wanted to kill me. But I didn't even have time to feel the pain of her words before the water closed over my head. My limbs felt weak, my heart pounded, and my mind went blank. There was no room for any thought but pure, unadulterated fear. "Help! I was going to drown." I flailed in the water, desperately trying to call for help. Maya watched me with disgust. "Nice act," she sneered. She just stood there at the edge of the pool, refusing to help me. Scarlett and her bodyguards swam right past me, dragging Leo along, deliberately ignoring my struggle. They frantically pulled Leo from the water and rushed him to the hospital, leaving me, the one who was terrified of water and couldn't swim, completely alone. I swallowed mouthful after mouthful of water until I no longer had the strength to struggle, my body sinking helplessly to the bottom. In that moment, I hated Scarlett and Maya with every fiber of my being. I hated how incredibly stupid they were, letting Leo play them for fools. I hated their cruelty. One was my girlfriend, the other always claimed to be my sister, yet they both watched me die. Most of all, I hated myself for letting them hurt me for 3 years before I finally decided to leave, only to end up like this. I could only imagine how devastated my parents would be. A million thoughts raced through my mind as I thought I was about to die, but then the house cleaner found me by chance and called for help to pull me out. I coughed up mouthfuls of water, gasping for breath, too weak to even stand. After being rushed to the hospital, I learned I had a fever of 104 degrees and had developed pneumonia from being submerged in the freezing winter water for so long. Delirious with fever, I dreamed of the past. As a child, I was kidnapped by enemies of the right family and left in a ditch, only to be found and raised by an old man with an intellectual disability. My grandfather, as I called him, passed away when I was 3, and after that, I survived on the charity of Scarlett's and Maya's families. The 3 of us grew up together. Eventually, one became the girl I loved, and the other became the sister I cherished. When I turned 18, my birth parents found me, overjoyed, telling me I was the long-lost son of the right family, and that they wanted me to come home. Having craved a real family my whole life, I had planned to go with them. But Scarlett's eyes filled with tears as she begged me not to leave her. Maya, with her fiery temper, took it even further, landing herself in the emergency room after a suicide attempt. I was terrified and never dared to mention going home again. We had grown up together. I couldn't bear to hurt them. I thought we would be happy like that forever. But then Leo, the imposter son my parents had adopted in my absence, suddenly showed up with his bags, claiming he wanted to get to know me. At first, both Scarlett and Maya were cold to him, but shortly after he arrived, we went on that trip and got caught in the flash flood. I pulled the unconscious Scarlett and Maya to safety and asked him to watch over them while I went to a hospital 60 miles away for a severe infection. But Leo told them that he was the one who had risked his life to save them and that I had run away. Their attitudes toward me and Leo changed in an instant. The sound of violent kicking on my hospital room door jolted me awake. I had barely opened my eyes when Maya burst in, furious. Leo is still in shock from you pushing him into the pool. His hands won't stop shaking. Do you think you can get out of this by faking an illness? You're going to go apologize to him right now. I'm not faking. I almost drowned, and now I have a high fever and pneumonia. She had nearly killed me today. All I felt for her was hatred. I couldn't care less if she was worried about me, but I had to force myself to explain, otherwise there was no telling what she might do in her rage. But Maya didn't believe a word of it. First of all, you learned to swim when you were 6. Second, that pool is so shallow you couldn't drown in it if you tried. You're such a great actor, you should be in Hollywood. Now let's go. You're apologizing to Leo. Her words almost made me choke with rage. I had nearly drowned saving her and Scarlett from that flash flood, using up every last bit of my strength. Ever since then, I've been terrified of water and haven't dared to swim. But no matter how many times I told them, they never believed me. I swallowed my anger and said hoarsely, "I'll go as soon as this 4 is done, all right?" The past 2 years had taught me to stop explaining, to just shut up and give in. I thought that would satisfy her, but she just ripped the 4 needle out of my arm and had her bodyguards drag me from the bed. The needle tore a flap of skin on the back of my hand, and I hissed in pain. Maya acted like she hadn't even seen it, just ordering the guards to keep dragging me out. She used to say we were like real siblings, and that if anyone ever tried to hurt me, she'd be the first to defend me. I was such an idiot for ever believing her. Clutching my bleeding hand, I was dragged into Leo's hospital room. The first thing I saw was Leo sitting up in bed, with my girlfriend, Scarlett, hugging him and cooing, "It's okay, Leo. I'll always be here for you." Scarlett used to be so careful about boundaries with other guys, always worried about upsetting me. But now, she could hug another man right in front of me without a second thought. Even though the wound on my hand was raw and bleeding, Scarlett only had eyes for Leo's supposed suffering. "I'm sure your hand hurts," she said coldly, "but playing the victim won't work now. You hurt Leo, and you need to apologize."
I'm sorry.
Is that enough? I had given up trying to reason with her. I just wanted to get this over with and get back to my 4 drip. Leo heard me, but he ignored me and just continued to tremble. Scarlett's heart clearly broke for him. You pushed him into a freezing pool. A simple sorry isn't going to cut it. I almost died. I shot back, a sharp pain stabbing at my chest. Isn't that enough? Then what do you want? Scarlett hesitated, as if she was reluctant to say it. Scarlett, if you don't want to, it's fine, Leo said, putting on a disappointed act. Scarlett sighed and turned to me. Leo has always wanted to enter the international jewelry design competition, but he doesn't have a strong enough portfolio. That collection you've been working on is perfect. I've decided to give it to him.
No.
I don't agree. That collection was my baby, the culmination of 5 years of inspiration, of countless sleepless nights. She had asked to see the sketches, saying she just wanted to look at them, and I had trusted her. What right did she have to give my work away? Scarlett completely ignored my protest. It doesn't matter if you agree or not. I'm submitting the portfolio to the competition under Leo's name. I was livid. If you do that, I'll sue him for plagiarism. The original sketches are with me, and you deleted all the photos of them. What proof do you have? Ethan, just listen to me. You owe Leo. Consider this your way of making it up to him. Her casual words sent a chill through my body, draining all my strength. For the past 3 years, I had told myself she was just being deceived by Leo, and I was only disappointed in her. But in this moment, all I felt was pure hatred. I had given her the original sketches and deleted the photos, just like she asked. It never occurred to me that she was plotting against me the entire time. But what she didn't know was that on every single one of those sketches, I had written my name in invisible ink. Did she really think she could use my life's work to build Leo a reputation as some design prodigy? Not a chance. The day the competition winners are announced would be the day Leo was exposed as a fraud. I fought back a wave of scorn and anger. Ms. Preston, you already had this all planned out, so why bother asking me? But remember this, we're even now. I don't owe you a single thing anymore. I always called her Scarlett, never Ms. Preston. She frowned, looking like she was about to say something, but a single complaint from Leo instantly captured all of her attention. She and Maya were falling all over themselves to dote on Leo, just like they used to compete for my attention. It used to make me sad to see it. Now it just made me sick. A girlfriend who was emotionally cheating on me, and a childhood friend who nearly got me killed for a manipulative snake. Both of them disgusted me. Fighting back both physical and emotional nausea, I quickly left the room. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I doubled over, clutching my chest, and retched until my throat was raw. How could I have ever chosen two such vile people over my own family? That evening, my mom sent me the wedding itinerary. "What do you think?" she asked. "It's fine," I replied. "I don't care how it's done, as long as it helps our family and gets me out of Miami." I was in the hospital for a week. Maya and Scarlett were in the room right next to mine, taking care of Leo. They were less than 10 feet away, but neither of them came to see me even once. Not that I cared anymore. The day I was discharged, I went straight home and started packing. I just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. I listed every gift Scarlett and Maya had ever given me for sale online, then called my best friend, Noah, to say goodbye over dinner. "What? You're going back to New York to get married? And you're not coming back? Do Scarlett and Maya know? There's no way they'd let you go." Noah was so shocked he dropped his steak back onto his plate. I couldn't blame him for his reaction. Anyone who knew me knew that Scarlett and Maya were the most important people in my life. I put a few more pieces of meat on his plate. "They don't know," I said, "and I have no intention of telling them." Noah poked at the food on his plate, his shock giving way to a grin. "After how they treated you, all for that pretty boy loser. It's about time you got away from them. You're right not to tell them. Those two would just find a way to ruin it." "When's the wedding?" "5 days. My mom just sent me pictures of some tuxedos. Can you help me?" Before I could finish, Scarlett walked up to our table, looking anxious. "What wedding? Who's getting married?" Leo was right behind her. "It's not you, is it?" he asked with fake surprise. "I know you haven't been ready. Maybe Ethan is trying to force your hand?" Scarlett frowned. "Ethan, we're still young. I'm not planning on getting married this soon." The way she recoiled from the idea was so ridiculous it was almost funny. She used to be the one who was terrified I'd fall for someone else, always talking about getting married the second we were old enough. But lately, she'd been the one playing dumb, avoiding the topic whenever it came up. I bit back my irritation and gave a dismissive answer. "It's my friend's wedding, not mine." Scarlett seemed to relax instantly, and she left with Leo. "That witch," Noah fumed. "From the way she reacted, she obviously still has feelings for you. Just wait until she finds out you're really getting married. Let her stew in regret." I just zoomed in on the photos on my phone. "Okay, enough about them. Help me pick out a tux and a best man's suit." My plan was simple. Say goodbye to my best friend, finish packing, and head to New York for the wedding. With only a few days left, I thought I was finally in the clear. But not long after Scarlett and Leo left, a story broke online. The two of them, along with Maya, were spotted checking into a hotel and then visiting the infectious disease unit at a men's health clinic. Maya was a moderately famous actress, so the story immediately started trending. Noah and I had just finished picking out the suits when the news alert popped up on my phone. "She hasn't even broken up with you and she's already doing this? She's unbelievable," Noah said, shaking his head. "Ethan, are you really okay? You can talk to me if you're not, man. Don't bottle this stuff up." I closed the news app. It would have hurt me before, but not anymore. If I still cared about Scarlett that much, I would have lost my mind by now. I had made my peace with it. I didn't care if it was Maya or Scarlett with Leo, or even all three of them together. It had nothing to do with me anymore. But on my way home, I noticed people staring at me with strange looks, and it made my skin crawl. I didn't understand what was happening until another news alert popped up. Scarlett and Maya had publicly stated that I was the one with the STD, not Leo. They were deliberately throwing me under the bus. To make matters worse, Leo posted on Twitter, heavily implying that I used to work as a male escort and that it was no surprise I'd catch something. Now, the entire internet believed I was a prostitute with an STD. I thought after the last 3 years, nothing could faze me anymore. But seeing their lies, I was so furious my face turned beet red. They weren't at our place, so I threw on a mask and a hat and headed straight for the Preston family's estate. Leo had made it to the final round of the design competition using my portfolio, and Scarlett and Maya were throwing a party to celebrate. "This is a private party. No dogs and no you allowed. Get lost before I call security," Leo sneered, blocking my path and flashing the Rolex he had taken from me. He used to be so careful, always afraid I was recording him, putting on a fake, polite act whenever we were alone. He never would have said something so nasty. This time, he wasn't even trying to hide his contempt. I fought to keep my voice even. "You don't need security. I'll leave after I ask you one thing. You were the one who went to that clinic, so why am I the one taking the blame? I've already let you have them. I even let you have the portfolio I spent 5 years on. Why can't you just leave me alone? After I went missing, my parents adopted Leo. He lived the good life that should have been mine for years, but I was never jealous. Even after I came back to the right family, I never tried to compete with him for anything. I truly had no idea what I had ever done to him to make him hate me this much. Hearing this, Leo became agitated. Let me have them? Don't act so generous. I took them myself. It's your own fault for being an idiot and refusing to marry that woman in a coma. If you didn't marry her, I would have had to, and there was no way I was doing that. My parents never intended for you to marry her. You think I'd believe that? The right family was having financial trouble, and only the Vanderbilts could bail you out. They couldn't stand the thought of their precious biological son marrying into that family, so they decided to sacrifice me instead. And they have the nerve to call themselves philanthropists. What a joke! My parents had been nothing but good to him. How dare he talk about them like that? My vision turned red with fury. Leo! I yelled. Ah! He shrieked, collapsing to the floor and shattering the wine glass in his hand. The next thing I knew, Maya shoved me hard, sending me sprawling to the ground. Ethan, didn't I warn you to stop bullying Leo? If you touch him again, you can get the hell out of my house and go back to being the unwanted orphan you are. My head slammed against the wall, and my vision swam. Shards of glass from the broken wine glass dug into my palm, the pain so sharp I couldn't speak. But Maya didn't even glance at me. She just helped Leo to his feet and walked away with him. Scarlett saw what happened from across the room and hurried over, not because she was concerned for me, but because she was afraid I'd make a scene. The usually gentle Scarlett roughly pulled me out of the ballroom. Ethan, this is Leo's party. Can you please just stop? It's just a few sketches. You can always draw more. That was 5 years of my life. How many 5-year periods does a person get? I shoved her away, my voice raw. I'm not here about the portfolio. I'm here because of what's trending online. I'm not the one with an STD, so why are you pinning it on me? Keep your voice down. Leo is about to win a gold medal in an international competition. If people find out he has an STD, his reputation will be ruined. How could he ever show his face in public again? Scarlett was supposed to be my girlfriend. She had a threesome in a hotel, took another man to a clinic for an STD, and then blamed it all on me, and she didn't show a shred of guilt. All she did was blame me. I had never hated her more than I did in that moment. What about me? You think I like being slandered online? You're not the one winning the award, so it doesn't matter if people say a few bad things about you. Don't worry about your reputation. I'll still marry you one day, and my dowry will be more than enough for you to live on for the rest of your life, she said, as if it were the most insignificant thing in the world. Ever since the flash flood, she had always been able to hurt me so casually for Leo's sake. I looked at her familiar face, but it felt like I was looking at a complete stranger. Scarlett must have felt a pang of guilt because she couldn't meet my eyes. Ethan, you need to watch yourself. If you cause any more trouble, I'm breaking up with you. Fine, I said. Let's break up. It wasn't the first time I'd said it. She probably thought I'd come crawling back to her like I always did. She didn't take me seriously, just shot me a look and walked away. Through the glass window, I watched as Leo, flanked by Maya and Scarlett, basked in the glory that should have been mine, enjoying the friendship and the love that I had lost. Leo noticed me watching and shot me a triumphant, mocking look. A moment later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from him. You grew up with them and you still couldn't keep them? You're pathetic. Watching them walk all over you is just sad. You're an embarrassment. By the way, your portfolio is about to win me a gold medal and make me famous worldwide. Mel? Too bad. You're not getting it back, and you're still the one with the STD. He deleted the message a second after sending it, just like he always did. I clenched my phone, hoping he'd still have this much bravado when his plagiarism was exposed to the world. And I wasn't going to take the fall for his disease. Not this time. I contacted a private investigator and asked him to get proof of Leo's visit to that clinic. No problem, the PI replied. By the way, I've also gathered all the evidence of him framing you over the years. There's a lot of it, so it'll take me a few days to sort through. That's fine. Get it to me when you can. There's no rush. I had hired the best PI I could find, originally hoping to quickly expose Leo's schemes and clear up the misunderstandings with Scarlett and Maya. But from the moment Maya pushed me into that pool and Scarlett left me to drown, I had given up on them completely. I didn't care what they thought of me anymore, so the urgency was gone. I let out a bitter laugh, put my phone away, and went home. I had already packed most of my things. I didn't want to leave a single trace of myself behind. Anything I wanted to keep was packed away. The rest was either thrown out or sold. In the end, besides the single suitcase by my side, the only things of mine left in the house were a thick photo album and a glass jar filled with colorful paper cranes. The album was full of pictures of me, Maya, and Scarlett, from the time we were kids until now. They used to say we had to take at least 100 photos together every year, so we'd have memories to look back on when we were old. They hadn't kept that promise for 3 years. The paper cranes were a gift they had folded for me together. They told me each crane represented one wish they would grant me. When Leo first started framing me, I had used one of the wishes to beg them to believe me, but they had just crushed the crane under their feet and told me to stop being so childish. I took the album and the jar of cranes outside, piled them together, and set them on fire. "What are you doing?" Maya's voice cut through the air as she came home just as the last of it was turning to ash. She shoved me aside angrily, reaching into the flames to salvage what was left. Even Scarlett, who was usually so composed, went pale, letting go of Leo and rushing toward the fire. But the album was gone, and the cranes were nothing but a pile of ash. Maya cradled the ashes in her hands and turned to me, her eyes red with fury. "Are you insane? Why would you burn all this? Do you have any idea how many years of memories were in there?" Scarlett was also staring at me with disapproval. Not wanting to get into a fight, I used the excuse I'd already prepared. The old prints were fading. I have digital copies, so I ordered new, better quality ones. They should be here in a few days. Maya and Scarlett looked like they were about to yell at me more, but a small cry from Leo sent them rushing to his side. "Did you drop that antique vase I just bought you? Are you hurt?" Scarlett asked, helping him up. Maya cooed. "You silly thing, what would you do without us?" Leo then put on a concerned face. "Don't worry about me. Look at Ethan. He's packing his bags. He's not really leaving, is he?" Maya scoffed without a second thought. "He's an orphan who depends on me and Scarlett for everything. Where would he go? I've tried to kick him out for all the trouble he's caused, but he never has the guts to actually leave." Scarlett laughed. "Don't worry about Ethan. I was his first love. His biggest dream for years has been to marry me. He's not going anywhere." The two of them went back to fawning over Leo, ignoring me completely. For the past 3 years, whenever they hurt me, they used to at least feel a little guilty about it. They hated me for supposedly abandoning them, and they despised me for supposedly bullying Leo, but they still never wanted me to leave. Back then, all I wanted was to expose Leo and make them see the truth. No matter how much they hurt me, I never considered leaving. Eventually, they started taking my presence for granted, stopped caring about my feelings, and never worried that I might actually walk away. But I didn't care what they thought anymore. I couldn't stand watching the 3 of them, so I went upstairs to bed. The next morning, I was up early. I got ready, had a quick breakfast, and grabbed my suitcase, ready to head to New York. The wheels of my suitcase rumbled on the floor, and Scarlett was the first to speak. "Where are you going?" I knew she wasn't asking out of concern for me. She was just worried that if I left, Leo would lose his favorite pawn. While I was in the hospital, she had already fired me as design director and given my job to Leo. She even had the nerve to ask me to be his assistant. A colleague had told me about it, and I was so disgusted that I couldn't even stand to look at her face anymore. But I didn't want any trouble, so I just said quietly, "Noah's getting married. I'm going to his wedding. He lives here," she said, eyeing my suitcase. "Why do you need a suitcase? His fiancée is from New York. The wedding's there. When will you be back?" "In 3 days. And the new photos you ordered will have arrived by then?" "Yeah." Scarlett was always detail-oriented and full of questions. Maya, on the other hand, had no patience. "He's coming back, Scarlett, so who cares? Leo said he wants to get a cat. Let's go with him to pick one out." Normally, the mention of Leo's name was enough to make Scarlett forget I existed. But this time, she surprised me by adding, "About the STD thing, Maya and I were wrong to blame you for that. Let me know when your flight gets in. I'll pick you up from the airport." "Yeah, Scarlett and I will both come get you, okay?" Maya added, looking a little awkward herself. "Stop making such a big deal out of it. It's not the end of the world." So they did know they were in the wrong. I scoffed internally. Then I turned, pulled my suitcase behind me, and walked out without a backward glance. I wouldn't be making any more scenes, and I wouldn't be coming back. They could wait for me forever. At 5 in the afternoon, my flight landed in New York City. My parents were there to meet me, and with them was a beautiful woman in a wheelchair. She had stunning, deep-set eyes and a delicate nose, so perfectly beautiful she looked like a doll. My first thought was that she was breathtaking. My second was that she looked vaguely familiar, though I couldn't place where I might have seen her before. "Ethan, this is Chloe. Chloe Vanderbilt," my father said. "The Vanderbilt heiress, and your future wife." My mother then leaned in and whispered, "After you agreed to the marriage, Mrs. Vanderbilt told me Chloe woke up that very same day. Isn't that a miracle? I only just found out myself. When Chloe heard you were arriving today, she insisted on coming to the airport. It did seem like a miracle. I had resigned myself to marrying a woman in a coma, so to suddenly be faced with a living, breathing fiancé. To be honest, I was stunned and had no idea how to act. Hello, Ethan." It was Chloe who finally broke the silence, extending her hand to me. "Hi, Ms. Vanderbilt," I replied, shaking it. "Please call me Chloe." Was it just me, or did she hold my hand for a little too long? And she kept staring at me. Did I have something on my face? I snuck a glance in the car's side mirror, but it was clean. In the car, Chloe sat beside me. Scarlett and Maya had always been so controlling that I rarely got this close to any woman I didn't know well. I felt incredibly awkward, but she was going to be my wife, and I felt I had to explain the whole STD rumor to her. "Chloe," I started, "about those rumors online about me going to a clinic. Do you want to sue them for slander?" She cut in. "I had my team save all the evidence before they took the posts down. You have more than enough to press charges." I was stunned. I pulled out my phone and saw that the trending topic was gone, and all the nasty comments on my Twitter account had been deleted. I had been bracing myself for her anger and disgust, but it seemed she hadn't doubted me for a second. I didn't know what to feel. "Our wedding is just around the corner. Let's deal with it after that." "Whatever you say, Ethan," Chloe agreed, then smoothly changed the subject. "You studied jewelry design at NYU, right?" I was relieved she dropped the awkward subject. "I've seen your previous work," she continued. "Your first major piece, if I remember correctly, was that tiara for your friend's sister's debutante ball, wasn't it? How did you know that?" I was genuinely surprised. I was a moderately well-known designer now, but most people only knew my more recent work. Even Scarlett and Maya had no idea what my first piece was. Chloe smiled. "I saw it by chance back then and fell in love with it, so I had someone look into the designer. I'm not usually a big talker, but I can talk about my work for hours." And she wasn't just pretending to be interested, she had clearly done her research. By the time we arrived, I felt like we were at least getting to know each other. At dinner, I met the rest of the Vanderbilt family for the first time. Our families called it a merger, but in reality, the Wrights were the ones who needed the Vanderbilts. If Chloe hadn't been in a coma, I never would have been in the running. I had expected the Vanderbilts to be cold and aloof, but they were all incredibly warm and welcoming. My future father-in-law clapped my dad on the back. "Henry, was that capital injection I sent over last week enough? If you need more, just say the word. We're family now, don't be a stranger." My future mother-in-law took my hand, beaming. "Just look at Ethan, so handsome. Here, this is for you. 1% of the company shares. Sign it now, and it will be considered a prenuptial asset. Don't underestimate 1%. The annual dividends alone were at least $50 million. Chloe herself only held 10%. My hands were shaking as I held the contract. I wanted to refuse. It was just too much. But before I could get the words out, Chloe flipped the contract to the signature page for me and leaned in close. "Ethan, sign it quickly," she whispered, "before they change their minds." Honestly, it was a little jarring to see this cool, elegant woman whispering conspiratorially to me. She pressed a pen into my hand, along with a black credit card. "Here," she said, "your family is giving me too much. I feel guilty taking all this." Chloe's eyes crinkled at the corners as she smiled. "It's because you're worth it." She and her family seemed genuinely nice. I started to relax a little. The next 3 days flew by. I didn't hear a word from Scarlett or Maya. It was for the best. The last thing I wanted was them disrupting my wedding. But I should have known things wouldn't be that simple. Half an hour before the ceremony, as I was waiting backstage in my tuxedo, my phone started buzzing nonstop. I don't know how they found out, but they were spamming me with video calls. I didn't answer or reply, so they started calling me, one call every 30 seconds, like they wouldn't stop until I picked up. Annoyed, I frowned and just turned my phone off. The ceremony began. Chloe walked down the aisle on her father's arm, and he solemnly placed her hand in mine. But just as we were about to exchange rings, Scarlett and Maya burst into the hall. They stared at me on the altar, wearing the groom's boutonniere, their faces turning deathly pale. Their eyes were filled with disbelief, as if I was the one who had betrayed them. What right did they have to look at me that way? Scarlett and Leo had all but slept together right in front of me. Why would she think I'd still want to marry her? Maya had nearly killed me to defend Leo's honor. Why would she think I'd ever want to see her again, let alone treat her like a sister? As they started to rush the altar to ruin my wedding, my heart sank. "Chloe, I'm so sorry," I began, but before I could finish, Security guards had intercepted Scarlett and Maya and were dragging them out, causing barely a ripple in the ceremony. Chloe slid the ring onto my finger. "I've waited too long for this," she said, her dark eyes fixed on mine. "I'm not going to let anyone ruin our wedding." For a second, I had the strangest feeling that she had been in love with me for a long time. But that was impossible. I hadn't even known who she was before all this. I dismissed the ridiculous thought. The rest of the day went smoothly, right up until the reception. That's when Scarlett, Maya, and Leo found me. "Ethan, come over here. I need to talk to you," Scarlett said, her face grim as she stared at the boutonniere still pinned to my lapel. "No, thanks," I said flatly. "I have nothing to say to you." I had never spoken to her so coldly before. She looked shocked for a moment, then her face flushed with anger. Just then, Chloe joined us. She saw them and was about to have them removed, but before she could say anything, Maya spoke up, her face a mask of scorn. "Ms. Vanderbilt, do you have any idea where this wedding of yours came from? He stole it from Leo. Not to mention, he has a girlfriend of 7 years that he never even broke up with before marrying you. Don't let this scumbag fool you." So that's why they were here. It was another one of Leo's schemes. Hadn't they tormented me enough for him over the past 3 years? I had already left to get away from them. Why couldn't they just let me go? I didn't want to lose my temper on my wedding day, but I couldn't help it. "Who said we didn't break up? Scarlett, you told me we were done the day you threw that party for Leo. Or has your memory gone bad?" Scarlett looked at me with disapproval. "I was just angry. You can't take that seriously. Ethan, you can't marry Leo's fiancée just to get back at me. That's wrong. You're always picking on him, and he's magnanimous enough to let it go. But this is just shameless." The sound of my hand connecting with her cheek echoed in the quiet hall. Couldn't hold it back. I was so furious I saw spots in front of my eyes, unable to speak. Leo rushed to shield her. "Ethan, hitting people won't change the truth," he said, then turned to Chloe with a pained expression. "Chloe, I've been in love with you since we were kids. So when you fell into a coma and the Vanderbilts proposed a marriage alliance with the Wrights, I agreed immediately. I never imagined you would wake up before the wedding. Ethan got jealous of my good fortune, so he conspired with my adoptive parents to take my place and marry you himself. I was so angry I had to laugh. Are you sure about that? Leo looked like the most wronged person in the world. It's the absolute truth. That's enough. Scarlett interrupted, acting as if she were graciously forgiving me for some great transgression. Ethan, apologize to Leo right now, and then come home with me. We can pretend this whole thing never happened. Maya looked at me with pure contempt. You're such a disgrace. I can't believe I ever called you my brother. There was a time when the three of them had pushed me so far I had considered ending my own life, spending countless sleepless nights in misery. Now they just seemed pathetic and ridiculous. Leo, you claim I stole your marriage, I said calmly. But the Vanderbilts' proposal was always for me. The arrangement was contingent on me. If I had said no, the deal would have been off. It never had anything to do with you, Leo sputtered, but they used my information for the arrangement. Before he could say more, Chloe laughed. I've had a crush on Ethan for years. That's why my family specifically requested him after I fell into my coma. We wanted him, Leo. Why on earth would he need to steal anything from you? She had a crush on me? I was as stunned as everyone else. Leo was completely speechless, his face draining of all color. Scarlett and Maya stared at him, desperately hoping he had another lie ready. I looked at them and almost laughed. Stop looking at him. He's lying. Not just now, but for the past 3 years he's been lying to you, manipulating you. How does it feel to be played for a fool? Maya, who had been struggling against the security guards, suddenly went limp, all the fight draining out of her as she stared at me with panicked eyes. The color vanished from Scarlett's face. She just stared at me, a look of pure terror dawning in her eyes. Scarlett and Maya looked like they wanted to speak, but Chloe gave them no chance. Get them and that man out of here, she said with disgust. Memorize their faces. I never want to see them on any of my properties again. The guards grabbed them and started to drag them away. Wait, I called out. A flicker of hope appeared in Scarlett's eyes. Ethan, I knew you still. Stop, don't flatter yourself. I cut her off. I turned to Leo, my voice ringing through the hall. Since we have an audience, let's make things clear. Leo, you are an ungrateful snake. The Wright family wants nothing to do with you. From this day forward, you are no longer part of our family. With that, I signaled for the guards to remove them. The reception began, and it was time for the newlywed toast. Normally, Chloe and I would have made the rounds, but the Vanderbilts were one of the most powerful families in the country. There were very few guests who warranted a personal toast from the Vanderbilt heiress and her new husband. So in the end, I just met a few of the senior family members with Chloe before being sent off to eat. Ethan must be exhausted after such a long day. Chloe, dear, take him to get something to eat and rest, my new mother-in-law said, fussing over me as if I'd been through a war. Chloe smiled. Of course. She led me to the head table where the spread was different from the others. Every single dish was one of my favorites. I looked at her, surprised. You arranged this? Emicham, she said, pulling out my chair for me. Watching her bustle around in her wheelchair for my sake, I felt a strange pang of guilt. The staff can get it, I said. Or I can. You don't have to do all this. Of course I do. If I let them do everything, how will you ever see how great I am? You didn't think I was lying when I said I had a crush on you, did you? She had such an elegant, almost intimidating presence, but she was so direct it left me speechless. I sat down and stammered, well, we actually went to the same schools, from middle school all the way through college. Did we? She asked. I racked my brain, but I couldn't remember her at all. Chloe couldn't help but laugh at my confusion. It's perfectly normal that you don't remember me. You were always at the top of our class, a star basketball player, a talented pianist, and always so kind. A lot of girls had crushes on you. I was just one of them. I even sent you a letter once, but I doubt you ever got it. I tried to say hi to you a few times, but Scarlett and Maya always got in the way. I even managed to get your number once, but you deleted me from your contacts before I could even send a message. The person she was describing sounded like a stranger. Was I really that impressive? Noah was a relatively new friend. Before him, Scarlett and Maya were the only people I was close to. Even back when things were good, they rarely praised me. Took me a moment to respond. I'm sorry about that. I was with Scarlett for 7 years, and back when things were good, she used to get very jealous and delete women from my contacts. It's not your fault, it's hers, Chloe said. And for the record, even if I get jealous, I would never do something like that. That's not jealousy, that's a character flaw. Was she trying to turn me against Scarlett? No, I must have been mistaken. She didn't seem like the type to put others down. Besides, even if she hadn't said a word, I was done with Scarlett and Maya. The depth of my previous affection for them was now matched only by the depth of my hatred. After the reception, Chloe and I went back to our suite. I felt the need to explain. Today was an accident, I said. I won't have anything to do with Scarlett or Maya ever again. Please don't be upset. Chloe just smiled. Don't be so nervous. It's okay if you see them. Even though I'm in love with you, I still respect you and your privacy. I trust you. I was worried she'd be uncomfortable and was about to suggest we sleep in separate rooms, but she started undressing right in front of me. I quickly grabbed the comforter to cover her. Aren't you worried I'll take advantage of you? You're the man I love, she said. If you wanted to take advantage of me, it would just mean you find me attractive. I'd be thrilled. Her words made me think of Scarlett. I had been with her since I was 18. She was incredibly jealous, forbidding me from even talking to other women or having their contact information. She would open letters sent to me, go through my messages, and delete people from my phone, all without my permission. When I found out, I was furious. That's a complete violation of my privacy, I had told her. It was the first time I remember her getting truly angry with me. Don't you know what those girls want from you? You have a girlfriend. You should be keeping your distance, not leading them on. When Maya found out, she took Scarlett's side. She only does it because she loves you so much. How could you fight with her over something like this? You're breaking her heart. Just apologize and she'll forgive you. They and their families were the only people I had. When the Caldwells and the Prestons also told me I was in the wrong, I started to believe it. After 6 months of dating, she would barely even hold my hand, let alone kiss me. When I gently brought it up, she got furious. Ethan, are you just like every other guy? Is that all you think about? Do you like me for who I am? Or do you just want my body? I tried to explain that I genuinely cared for her, but she wouldn't believe me. If you really loved me, you would respect me, not just try to get me into bed. It wasn't about sex. We had been together for 6 months, and she wouldn't even kiss me. It made me wonder if she even liked me at all. Was it so wrong to want to kiss the girl I loved? I started to think I was the one in the wrong. Then Maya piled on. You're going to marry her eventually anyway, so why can't you just wait? Scarlett is just like any other girl. She wants to save that special moment for her wedding night, and I let them convince me. I told myself Scarlett loved me. She was just a little jealous and old-fashioned. I told myself Maya was my sister, and she would never lie to me. But tonight, Chloe had told me that when you love someone, you respect them, you give them their space, and you don't push them away when they want to be close. I washed up, my mind a jumble of conflicting emotions. I decided to scroll through TikTok for a bit to clear my head. But the second I turned my phone on, it was flooded with messages and missed call alerts, all from Scarlett. For a second, I thought she had finally learned the truth about Leo and was calling to apologize. But when I opened the first message, a fresh wave of rage washed over me. I almost fell for it. I almost believed Leo was the liar. You really are a vicious bastard trying to slander him like that. Leo already explained everything to me and Maya. It was a simple misunderstanding because my parents weren't clear. And for such a small thing, you had to humiliate him at your wedding and kick him out of the family? How is he supposed to face anyone now? And you're being so dramatic. All we did was ask you to cover for him about the STD. Was that really worth getting so angry that you had to run off to New York and marry someone else? I'm giving you one more chance. Tomorrow, you will publicly apologize to Leo, reaffirm his status as a son of the right family, and then get a quick divorce from Ms. Vanderbilt. If you do that, I'll consider taking you back. It was only after I stopped loving her that I realized how vile and narcissistic she truly was. Before coming to New York, I thought just getting away from her would be enough. I never wanted revenge, no matter how much I hated her. But now I understood that if I just ran, she would never stop chasing me, never stop tormenting me. I called her right back. She answered immediately. I knew you'd call. Remember, you have one day to do what I said if you want me back. You think you're some kind of prize? Chloe is 1,000 times better than you. I'd have to be an idiot to leave her for you. Ethan, Scarlett shrieked, her voice cracking with rage. What are you yelling about? Let me tell you something, Scarlett. Not only is Leo never coming back to the right family, but I'm going to expose every disgusting thing the three of you have ever done. None of you will ever hurt me again. I hate confrontation. I'll usually just let things go. If they hadn't pushed me so far, I never would have raised my voice. Scarlett was clearly stunned, and I could hear her ragged breathing on the other end. But I didn't give her a chance to reply. I just hung up and blocked her number. Then I took the hospital security footage and registration records from the PI and posted them online. I tagged Leo's professional account. At Jewelry Designer Leo, you've got the nerve to sleep around, but not to admit you caught something? You were the one at the hotel with 2 women. You were the one at the clinic. How dare you make me take the fall for it and then slander me? I also tagged Scarlett's design studio and Maya. At Preston Designs at Maya Caldwell, if your eyesight is so bad you can't even recognize the man you're sleeping with, maybe you should see a doctor instead of blaming me. I attached the surveillance video, the clinic records, screenshots of Scarlett and Maya's posts claiming they were with me at the hospital, and a link to Leo's tweet about me being an escort. I had a couple 100,000 followers, but that wasn't enough. I paid to make the post go viral. What the three of them had done was so outrageous that the post blew up instantly, the comments, retweets, and likes climbing by the second. Before I could even lie down, Maya was on the phone, screaming, "Are you insane, Ethan? Do you have a death wish posting that online? They can slander me, but I can't tell the truth?" I was in no mood to argue. You're the one who should be worried, Maya. The three of you have until midnight tomorrow to issue a public apology. If you don't, I'm suing you all for defamation, and you can see how you like a jail cell. I'm not listening to this crap. You better back off now. I'm already being generous by not taking this further. I had never wanted to burn bridges with Scarlett and Maya. Their families had helped raise me and I felt I owed them. But they had gone too far, treated me like I was less than human. Whatever goodwill I had for them was completely gone. I hung up and blocked Maya's number, then Leo's. I had been so focused on blocking Scarlett that I'd forgotten about them. With that done, I put my phone on silent and finally went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to find my post was the #1 trending topic on Twitter. Scarlett, Maya, and Leo were getting absolutely roasted online. I glanced at the comments, then took my phone and went to get breakfast. Chloe was in her wheelchair, reading a book. When she saw me, she immediately put it down and came over. She had the housekeeper bring me a bowl of soup and asked, "I just saw what's trending. Did they bother you again? Is this bad for your image? I can have it taken down." I had acted out of pure rage last night. It was only now that I remembered how much powerful families cared about their reputation. I remembered a time when Maya's aunt had gotten me drunk and taken advantage of me, and both the Caldwells and the Prestons had forbidden me from going to the police. Scarlett had said that since we were going to get married, I had to protect my reputation. Maya had said that the Caldwells were a prominent family, and a scandal would make them a laughingstock. If the Prestons and Caldwells cared that much, I could only imagine how the Vanderbilts felt. But Chloe stopped me before I could make the call. "You were being bullied. You have every right to fight back. I just wanted to apologize. You're my husband, and I had no idea this was happening to you. I'm so sorry." I was surprised. Her reaction was so different from what I was used to from the Prestons and the Caldwells. "You don't have to apologize. It has nothing to do with you. We're married now," she said. "Your problems are my problems. From now on, you can tell me anything." I nodded, but I had no intention of doing so. It was better to rely on myself than on anyone else. I never wanted to be dependent on someone again. The feeling of being betrayed was just too painful. After breakfast, Chloe went to her physical therapy session. We had agreed before the wedding that we would wait to go on our honeymoon until she had fully recovered. She didn't want me to have to spend our first trip together taking care of her. After Chloe left, I played the piano for a while to pass the time. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello, Ethan, it's me." It was Scarlett. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Everyone is attacking Leo online because of you. He's so upset he's talking about killing himself." I was already tired of her excuses. "So, is he dead yet? If he is, I can send flowers." "Ethan, you never used to be like this. How did you become so cruel? We were wrong to blame you for the STD, okay? But you're always picking on him. Isn't it fair for you to take the fall for him just once? How could you post the truth online and let all those people attack him?" It wasn't the first time she had accused me of being the villain. I should have just hung up, but I couldn't stand her biased, ridiculous accusations anymore. I just couldn't let it go. "You and Maya are always saying I hurt Leo. Have either of you ever actually seen me do anything to him? Why do you always believe him over me? Have you ever stopped to think that maybe he's the one who's been lying to you this whole time? Have you ever considered how much pain you've caused me? If you ever find out that I was the one who saved you from that flash flood, how are you going to face me then?" By the end, I was yelling. Scarlett didn't even hesitate. "Stop trying to twist the truth. Leo is a good person. He would never lie or hurt anyone. And I would." I shot back. I took a deep breath, not wanting to continue this pointless argument. "You brought this on yourselves. You deserve every bit of hate you're getting. Don't call me again. If I don't see a public apology from all three of you by midnight, I'm filing a lawsuit." "Ethan." I hung up and set my phone to reject calls from unknown numbers. I was in no mood to play the piano anymore. Half an hour later, Scarlett, Maya, and Leo posted a public apology to me online. But no sooner had their apology gone up than a new story started trending, completely overshadowing it. Accusations that I had plagiarized and bullied Leo, and news that he had just won the gold medal in the International Jewelry Design Competition. Leo appeared in a video, his voice hoarse, looking completely distraught. "I'm sorry to be taking up everyone's time," he began, "but I don't know what else to do. Today, the committee for the International Jewelry Design Competition informed me that my portfolio has won the gold medal. I should be happy. My hard work and talent have finally been recognized. But I can't be, because for years, all of my work has been stolen by Ethan. My adoptive parents took everything I ever created, every piece of my soul, and gave it to their biological son, just to build him up as some kind of design prodigy. They destroyed all the evidence, so I have no way to prove it. But today, on the day I should be celebrating this award, I have to speak my truth. If I keep this bottled up any longer, it's going to destroy me." Leo's video alone might have been met with skepticism. But then Scarlett posted an official notice of my termination from her verified studio account. And Maya, during a live broadcast of a popular reality show, alluded to me being a plagiarist and a bully. The internet went into a frenzy. Ms. Preston and Maya Caldwell are his childhood friends. Scarlett dated him for 7 years. There's no way they would lie about this, right? If this is true, his career is over. His closest friends wouldn't joke about something so serious. He must have done something truly awful for them to turn on him like this. I'm a jewelry design major. I just looked at Leo's award-winning collection and Ethan's past work. The design language is identical. I can't believe I used to look up to him. He's just a thief. In an instant, the entire internet turned against me. Chloe stopped her physical therapy and came to find me, a worried frown on her face. She had always been a fan of my work, so I expected her to be furious, to demand an explanation just like everyone else. But all she said was, "Do you have proof that he stole your work? If you do, give it to me. I'll have my team release it immediately to clear your name, and we can get our lawyers started on a lawsuit." "You don't doubt me? Why would I?" she said without a moment's hesitation. "You're not that kind of person." A warmth spread through my chest as I looked at her unwavering trust. "I have proof," I said. "Don't worry. But there is one thing I need your help with." Thank God she wasn't like Scarlett and Maya. Thank God she believed me. Half an hour later, I was in a live video chat with Leo. The comment section was a waterfall of insults directed at me. Beside me, Chloe's face was tense, her expression grim. It's okay, I told her. But I don't like seeing people insult you, she replied, taking over as moderator and banning every user who posted a negative comment. The things Scarlett and Maya used to say to me were far more vicious than anything these strangers on the internet could come up with. Their words couldn't hurt me, but seeing how much Chloe cared still made me happy. But Leo, and Scarlett who was with him, were not happy. Leo looked at me, feigning fear, as if it had taken all his courage to speak. Ethan, I have all these good people on my side now. It doesn't matter if you get your parents or Ms. Vanderbilt to help you. Just admit what you did wrong. All I want is an apology. Scarlett glared at me. Only Leo would be so forgiving. You should be grateful, Ethan. Her unconditional defense of him used to break my heart. Now it just annoyed me. I ignored her completely and looked at Leo. So you're sure? All of my past work was stolen from you. Forget my past work, he said. If you had seen this portfolio before I submitted it, you would have stolen it too. I thought of you all as my real family, and this is how you treat me. By the end, he was choking back sobs. Scarlett handed him a tissue, her heart clearly aching for him. Don't cry, she soothed. Everyone knows the truth now. All I want is an apology. Is that really too much to ask? Leo said, tears streaming down his face. The comments on the screen grew even more hateful. I ignored the comments and fixed Scarlett with a cold stare. Leo is sure I plagiarized him. What about you, Ms. Preston? Do you have anything to add? A flicker of guilt crossed her eyes, and she hesitated. But one look from the red-eyed Leo, and her expression hardened. Ethan, stop trying to deny it, she said, her brow furrowed. Maya and I personally watched Leo draw every single one of those designs. You were wrong. Just apologize. I didn't answer her. Instead, I took out my phone, unblocked Maya's number, and called her, putting the call on speaker for everyone to hear. Maya, everyone is saying I'm a plagiarist. What do you think? Her voice came through the speaker, as aggressive as ever. Leo just wants an apology. Just give it to him already. She hadn't answered my question, so I asked again, more pointedly this time. Scarlett says that you and she both personally watched Leo create those designs, and that I then stole them. Is that true? The moment my face appeared on screen, the insults started. Now they were coming faster and more furiously than ever. Both of your childhood friends are calling you out, and you're still trying to deny it? Go die, you plagiarizing scum. They say a real man doesn't cry. He must be truly heartbroken. If you hadn't bullied him so relentlessly, why would a grown man be crying on camera? No matter how many times you ask, Scarlett and Maya aren't going to lie for you. This is so annoying. Just apologize already, you piece of trash. Stalling isn't going to change the fact that you're a thief. He's still denying it right in front of Scarlett and all of us. If he's this arrogant in public, I can't imagine how he and his parents treat Leo in private. What a monster. No wonder his own childhood friends are siding with Leo. If I were him, I'd be too ashamed to show my face. I'd have killed myself by now. The comments kept rolling in. Maya's furious voice crackled over the speaker. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. Is that clear enough for you? You've bullied him for years, you stole his work. You owe him a debt you can never repay. Now apologize to him, right now. A look of triumphant mockery flashed in Leo's eyes, but his voice was choked with emotion. Yes, Ethan, I'm a forgiving person. Just say you're sorry. I let him finish. After Scarlett took my portfolio, she told me to burn the originals and delete the photos. You thought that meant I had no proof, didn't you? Ethan, he sighed. Why are you still trying to lie? I cut him off impatiently. Leo, every time I finish a sketch, I sign it with invisible ink. Now, let's get the competition's head judge on the line and see if I'm telling the truth. When the live feed from the competition headquarters appeared on screen, Leo froze, a tissue halfway to his face. His eyes widened in panic, and all the color drained from his face. As the judge held a small heat source over the first sketch, my name, Ethan Wright, appeared in crisp, clear letters. As my name appeared on sketch after sketch, Leo's eyes rolled back in his head, and he passed out cold. For once, Scarlett didn't rush to his side. She just stared at me, utterly stunned. The live chat, which had been a torrent of hate, went silent for a beat, and then it exploded, comments flying so fast you couldn't read a single one. I ignored the chat and looked straight into the camera. Scarlett, Maya, was it fun? Lying about me, slandering me over and over again? I'm taking this opportunity to inform you both that I will be filing a formal lawsuit against you and Leo for plagiarism, defamation, and slander. I look forward to seeing you in court. With that, I ended the stream, but my call with Maya was still connected. Ethan, you've hurt him so many times, she was screaming. So what if he took a few of your stupid drawings? You owed him. If you dare to sue him, I swear I will destroy you. I will make your life a living hell. Scarlett's voice joined in, impatient. There's no need to blow this out of proportion. You're the one who's in the wrong here. If you hadn't heard him so many times, he never would have been angry enough to do this. You owe him, Ethan. This is your penance. You owe him. You have to atone. I had heard those words so many times I heard them in my nightmares, with them condemning me while I desperately tried to explain, and they never listened. I was sick of their self-righteous accusations. Instead of worrying about Leo, you should be worrying about yourselves. The whole world just watched you lie for him with straight faces. You don't really think you're going to get away with this, do you? I hung up and blocked Maya's number again. I had deliberately dragged them into it. If they had shown even an ounce of conscience, a single shred of doubt, they wouldn't have been caught in the crossfire. But they had stood by him, lied for him, so they deserved to go down with him. Are you okay? Chloe asked, sitting beside me, her voice full of concern. I managed to smile. I'm fine. They're the ones who aren't. You don't have to smile if you're sad, she said softly. And you don't have to hold back if you want to cry. I'm really okay, I insisted. I had already cried more than enough tears for Scarlett and Maya. I wouldn't waste another one on them. It was Chloe, the cool, composed woman, whose nose was red and whose voice was thick with emotion, as if she were the one who had been attacked. Seeing her so upset on my behalf, the anger I had felt towards Scarlett and Maya just seemed to melt away. Chloe hesitated for a second, then changed the subject. I want to go shopping for some new clothes. Do you have time to come with me? Sure, I said. Let's go. She said she wanted to buy clothes for herself, but the first store she dragged me into was a men's boutique. What about this one? Or this one? How about this? She asked, pointing out several suits and having the salesman pull them for me to try on. I was confused. I thought we were shopping for you. There's nothing new I want right now, she said. But I already have plenty of suits, I protested. That's different. I haven't bought a single one of them for you. That makes me a terrible wife, doesn't it? Her sudden self-criticism was so unexpected I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. We had only known each other for 5 days. When would she have had the chance to buy me a suit? But Chloe didn't care about logic. She turned to the salesman and said, "We'll take one of every suit you have in the store. Please have them delivered to the Vanderbilt estate." The Wrights, the Prestons, the Caldwells, they were all wealthy families, but none of them would ever spend money so extravagantly. Wait, I said quickly. I don't want all these. Chloe turned to me, her voice dropping to a whisper. Why not? You accepted gifts from Scarlett and Maya. Does this mean you don't like me? No, it's not that. It's just, it's too many. And some of them aren't really my style. That's fine. You can just give away the ones you don't like or sell them. Before I could protest further, she had already swiped her card. After the transaction was complete, she looked at me with an innocent expression on her beautiful face. It would be embarrassing for the Vanderbilt family to ask for a refund now. Let's go. Escorted out by a beaming salesman, I was then led by Chloe into a luxury watch boutique. See anything you like, honey? She asked. No, I said automatically. When Scarlett and Maya used to be nice to me, they loved giving me gifts, but they hated it when I asked for anything. I had gotten so used to just passively accepting whatever they gave me that I had forgotten how to want things for myself. Chloe gave me a surprised look, then made the decision for me. All right then, we'll take one of every model over $300,000. Actually, I said quickly, snapping out of my reverie, I think I like that one in the middle. As soon as the watch was boxed up, I said, Chloe, I think I'm getting tired. If we didn't leave soon, I was afraid she'd buy the entire mall. Okay, she said agreeably. If you're tired, we can go. She didn't argue, but her next words nearly made me choke. I had my assistant buy this mall in your name while you were distracted just now. So from now on, you can come whenever you like. I knew the Vanderbilts were wealthy, but I had no idea they were this wealthy. I had been out with Chloe for less than an hour, and I had somehow become the owner of a shopping mall. Feeling any better? She asked. I read online that retail therapy is a great way to relieve stress. You know, I said, a genuine smile spreading across my face. It actually worked. Thank you. I'm really happy. The trophy from the design competition arrives in 2 days. I was wondering if Mrs. Wright would be interested in keeping it for me. Really? She gasped, her eyes lighting up. But that's your first international award. It's so important. She seemed more excited about the trophy than she had been about buying the mall. I had never seen anyone's eyes sparkle like that before. I couldn't help but smile. That's why I want to give it to my wife, so she can share in my happiness. Chloe blushed and smiled. It would be my honor. She was incredibly busy, between her physical therapy and taking back the reins of the Vanderbilt group. In the short time she had been with me, her phone hadn't stopped ringing. After she turned it off, her assistant and several executives showed up at the house. Seeing that I was feeling better, she went to deal with them. The sun was out, so I took some fish food out to the koi pond in the garden. Even though it was the middle of winter, the entire property had heated floors, so it wasn't cold at all. By the time I was done, a maid had brought me a glass of fresh squeezed juice. I lay back on a lounge chair, sipping my juice in the sun, and opened my phone. The internet was still buzzing about Scarlett, Maya, and Leo. Thanks to the three of them, the story was everywhere. The scandal of them crying wolf was the talk of the internet. Calling what Leo did plagiarism is too kind. The guy literally stole Ethan's portfolio, won a gold medal with it, and then had the audacity to accuse Ethan of stealing from him. I have never seen anyone so shameless. I'm one of the Wright's neighbors, another comment read. Mr. and Mrs. Wright treated Leo like their own son, and in return, he tries to ruin Ethan's wedding and then slanders him online. What an ungrateful bastard. And the two women are even worse. What did Ethan ever do to them? Why would they help that scumbag destroy him? I have never seen anyone as vile as Scarlett Preston and Maya Caldwell. They grew up with him. One of them dated him for 7 years. And after knowing him for over 20 years, they tried to frame him. If he hadn't had that invisible ink trick, they would have ruined his life. The scandal of her threesome with Scarlett and Leo, and then lying about the STD, had already caused an uproar among her fans. Now, after she had perjured herself on a live broadcast to accuse me of plagiarism, no amount of PR could save her. Fans were leaving in droves, her endorsement deals were being cancelled, and she was dropped from several upcoming projects, leaving her with a mountain of breach of contract fees. It was doubtful that all the money she had made in her career so far would be enough to cover it. Scarlett wasn't faring much better. Her design studio was being bombarded with negative reviews, clients were canceling their orders en masse, and the business was on the brink of collapse. Chloe and my parents had also put the word out. Anyone who helped Scarlett or Maya would be making an enemy of the Vanderbilts and the Wrights. Now, not even their own parents were willing to lift a finger to help them. If they did, it would escalate into a war between four powerful families. Leo was completely dependent on Scarlett and Maya, and now they couldn't even save themselves, let alone him. The Preston and Caldwell families, who had once welcomed him, now demanded that their daughters cut off all contact with him permanently. Noah called me later, cackling with glee. You should have seen it, man. Leo fainted, and Maya took him to her family's private hospital. But her mom had security literally throw him out onto the street. Scarlett felt bad for him and took him to her place, but her parents threw him out too. Her mom called him a gold-digging pretty boy and told Scarlett that if she ever saw him again, she would disown her. We talked for a while before hanging up. A minute later, another friend, Zach, called. He said he was in New York on business and wanted to grab dinner. We hadn't seen each other in a while, so I agreed. He had booked a private room at an exclusive club. This is a little much for just 2 people, I muttered to myself as I pushed open the door. And there, waiting for me, were Scarlett, Maya, and Leo. My face fell. I turned to leave, but Scarlett grabbed my arm. Ethan, we need to talk. We have nothing to talk about, I said, shaking her off. Maya ran to block the door and gave me a hard shove. You block us over one little thing and then air all our dirty laundry online? You've got a lot of nerve, she snarled. Just because you married into the Vanderbilt family, you think you can look down on us now? I managed to sidestep just in time to avoid slamming into the corner of a table, but I still banged my lower back, a sharp pain shooting up my spine. Leo put on his peacemaker act. Maya, we all know what Ethan is like. Let's just be the bigger people here. We came to make peace. Remember? He's a bastard who doesn't deserve it, she shot back. I rubbed my aching back, in no mood to deal with them. Get out of my way. Scarlett frowned. Ethan, I admit what we did was wrong, but you had hurt Leo so many times before. You owed him. We all agreed that the portfolio would be your compensation. How could you go behind our backs and expose the truth like that? When did I ever agree to that? I exploded. You shamelessly stole my work. At my words, both Scarlett and Maya looked uncomfortable. But then Leo's eyes started to well up with tears again. Ethan, I was willing to let the past go. All I wanted was that portfolio as an apology. Don't you feel any remorse for what you've done? Seeing him so upset, Scarlett's heart went out to him. She turned on me, her eyes flashing with anger. Yes, we were wrong this time, but you've done so many things to hurt him. You owe him, don't you? Maya just started yelling. Scarlett, don't waste your breath on him. He's a shameless, ungrateful bastard with no conscience. Ethan, you listen to me. You will drop that lawsuit, or I will tell the world every single thing you have ever done to hurt Leo." The accusations kept coming, one after another, just like they had for the past 3 years. Leo could still manipulate Scarlett and Maya with just a single pained look. All he had to do was frown, and they would be ready to tear me apart. I looked at their self-righteous faces and had to laugh. "You really think you're the heroes in this story, don't you? You must be so proud of yourselves. Well, open your damn eyes and see how your precious Leo has been playing you for fools." I threw the entire file of evidence the PI had given me that morning right at them. I had planned to mail it to them after dinner. This saved me the postage. I unblocked their numbers and sent them all the video files as well. The sharp edges of the papers left small cuts on their faces, but neither of them seemed to notice. They stared at the papers scattered on the floor and the videos now on their phones, their faces growing paler with each passing second. It was all there. 3 years ago, when Leo came home beaten and bruised, claiming some thugs had done it on my orders. The man they had caught had confessed that I had paid him. Scarlett and Maya, claiming they were protecting me from going to jail, had refused to involve the police and had blamed me ever since. But the PI had photos of Leo laughing and sharing meals with that same thug on multiple occasions. And records showing that just before the attack, Leo had withdrawn $30,000 in cash, and that exact amount had been deposited into the thug's account. 2 years ago, when Leo kept framing me in places with no security cameras, I had gotten so desperate that I had tried to use a pinhole camera to catch him in the act, but he had discovered it. He hadn't called me out on it. Instead, he had filmed himself, sold the video to a porn site, and then told Scarlett and Maya that I had been secretly recording him to sell the footage to perverts as revenge. Scarlett and Maya had found the camera in my room and had gone ballistic, again refusing to call the police for my own good. But the PI had tracked down the website and gotten their financial records. All the payments for that video had gone directly to Leo's bank account. And the time Leo fell down the stairs and claimed I had pushed him, the PI had found a maid who had been fired from the Preston household around that time. On video, she confessed, "I saw Mr. Leo throw himself down the stairs, but he gave me $20,000 to keep my mouth shut. My son was getting married and we were short on the dowry, so I took the money and left. He wanted to give me cash, but it's a long bus ride home and I was afraid of being robbed, so I had him wire it to me." She had provided the bank statement to prove it. I couldn't even remember all the lies Leo had told about me over those 3 years. Even the PI couldn't find proof for everything. Some of it was too long ago or too well hidden. But what I had was more than enough to expose him for the fraud he was. Scarlett's hands trembled as she looked at the evidence. "How could Leo be like this?" she whispered. "So all those years, it was really..." She couldn't even finish the sentence. She couldn't bring herself to face the mistakes she had made. Maya looked like she was about to break down. So Ethan was telling the truth all along. Leo was lying to us this whole time. He played me for a fool, and I helped him hurt Ethan. I'm a monster. Leo saw his chance and made a break for the door, but I grabbed him by the hair. "Where do you think you're going? Done playing the victim?" He had tormented me for years, and now that the truth was out, he thought he could just walk away? Not a chance. "Let go of me," he yelled. "It's not my fault. If the Wrights had just told me I wouldn't have to marry that woman in a coma, none of this would have happened. It's all your fault." Before he could finish, Maya smashed a wine bottle over his head. Her eyes were wild as she lunged at him, slapping him again and again, then grabbing the broken bottle and jabbing it at him. "What right do you have to yell at Ethan, you bastard? You lied to me. You made me hurt him. He suffered so much because of you, and you're still trying to make excuses? You deserve to die." "Scarlett, help me," Leo screamed. But for once, Scarlett didn't rush to his side. She just stared at me, stammering, "I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't know. I didn't know he was lying." But before she could finish, Leo screamed again. "Scarlett, help me. No matter what I did to Ethan, I never did anything to hurt you or Maya. I'm the one who saved your lives." Scarlett hesitated for only a second before rushing over, pushing Maya away, and shielding Leo with her own body. Maya's eyes blazed with fury. She slapped Scarlett hard across the face. "He tormented Ethan for years. Why are you still protecting him? Why? Hit me. I won't fight back. I wronged Ethan and I deserve it. But Leo is right. He saved our lives. I can't just let him get hurt." She was looking at me the whole time, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and what looked like love. "I'm so sorry, Ethan, but trust me, I will make this up to you." For 3 years, I had dreamed of this moment, of her finally knowing the truth, of us getting back to the way things were. But now, as she looked at me with that loving gaze, all I felt was disgust. I couldn't even speak. The only thing I wanted to do was throw up. "Are you insane?" Maya screamed, slapping Scarlett again. That bastard has been lying to us for 3 years. Nothing that comes out of his mouth is true, and you still believe he's the one who saved us? Have you lost your mind?" Scarlett didn't even try to defend herself, just kept shielding Leo, her eyes, full of that sickeningly sweet affection, never leaving my face. My stomach churned. I couldn't watch this farce for another second. I turned and walked out. Ethan, both Scarlett and Maya rushed after me, blocking my path. But as they reached for me, someone stepped between us. "Honey, are you all right?" Chloe asked, taking my hand and looking me over with worried eyes. "Someone saw you come in here and heard shouting. Did they hurt you?" "I'm fine, really," I assured her. "Please don't see them alone again," she said. "I'm worried they'll hurt you." "I know. I was tricked into coming here. If I had known it was them, I never would have come." My history with Scarlett was complicated, and I didn't want Chloe to get the wrong idea. Scarlett watched us, her face growing paler by the second. "Ethan, you only married her to punish me, didn't you? Because I believed Leo instead of you? Well, I know the truth now. You can come back to me. You know how I feel about you being with other women. Even if you want to punish me, you don't have to. I'd had enough. Let's go," I said to Chloe. Scarlett and Maya called after me, but Chloe's bodyguards blocked their path. I didn't look back. As soon as we were in the car, I called Zach. "Why did you lie to me?" "Lie? Come on, we're all friends here. I just thought it was a shame for you, Scarlett, and Maya to throw away so many years of friendship over a little misunderstanding. Don't you agree?" "I think you're an idiot," I said. "I hope your girlfriend cheats on you. I hope she and your best friend betray you for some other guy and spend years trying to ruin your life. And when they've nearly destroyed you, I hope you can still say it was just a little misunderstanding." I hung up. In the past, I would have changed my number, deleted my accounts, and run away from it all. You could call it moving on, or you could call it what it was, cowardly escapism. But Scarlett, Maya, and Leo had taught me that running away solves nothing. And besides, I hadn't done anything wrong. Why should I be the one to run? I posted on my Facebook page, "I am done with Scarlett Preston, Maya Caldwell, and Leo. Anyone who, like Zach, tries to play peacemaker between us is no friend of mine." Beside me, Chloe kept looking at me like she wanted to say something. "What is it?" I asked, putting down my phone. She opened a file her assistant had just sent her. "I just bought you a Rolls-Royce, a Ferrari, and a Maybach. Will that help you feel any better?" "Chloe, don't you think you might have a bit of a spending problem?" "Really? But I make money faster than I can spend it. But if you don't like it, I can stop. I'll just transfer all my assets to you, and you can buy whatever you want." Chloe was a woman of action. She immediately called her lawyer. "I need you to draw up the paperwork to transfer all of my assets to my husband. Can you have it ready in an hour?" "Sorry, she's had a little too much to drink," I said, grabbing the phone and hanging up. I looked at Chloe. It was hard to believe that this woman, known as one of the sharpest young CEOs in the business world, was capable of doing something so ridiculously impulsive. Forget a billionaire like her. Most women wouldn't even give their husbands their entire $50,000 savings account. "If your family found out you were planning to give me everything you own," I said, my voice heavy with disbelief, "they would probably kill you." "Then we just won't tell them," she suggested seriously. "No," I said, "I don't want people calling me a gold digger. Who would say that? I'll deal with them. I don't want to take advantage of my wife like that. Besides, I like the surprise of getting gifts. Getting small presents every now and then is much more fun than getting one huge one all at once." "Oh, okay then. We won't do the transfer," she said immediately, her face so serious I couldn't help but smile. When we got home, she had 20 bodyguards waiting for me, 10 men and 10 women. "Honey, pick 2 to be your personal security detail. It'll make me feel better." "Can I pick 1 man and 1 woman?" I asked. Scarlett and Maya had always hated me even being around other women. I didn't have enough experience to know if all women were like that. Chloe didn't even blink. "Of course, pick whoever you want. The first one in the second row looks like that actress you like. Do you want her? Or you can pick a few, and they can work in shifts." "You don't mind." "Why would I? I trust you. And frankly, I have confidence in myself. If any woman could just come along and steal you away from me, then I'd be the one with the problem, not you." I looked at her, surprised, and then I smiled. I had thought this arranged marriage would be a nightmare. Now, I wasn't so sure. After getting my security sorted, Chloe went back to work. That evening, she took me out to dinner to meet some of her friends. "Nice to meet you, man. Here's a little something for you. Welcome to the family. You're even more handsome in person. That watch I picked out is going to look great on you. Chloe told us most of your friends are back in Miami, and she was worried you'd be lonely when she's busy. So seriously, if you ever want to hang out, just give me a call." I'm always free. Me too. I know all the best spots in the city. A whole group of them gathered around me, all incredibly friendly. It was a strange experience for me. Scarlett had never allowed me to be friends with any woman besides Maya, and she even got jealous if I was too close with my male friends. I knew her friends by name, but that was it. But Chloe's friends were all gathered around me, talking and laughing, and she wasn't the least bit bothered. In fact, she was telling them all about my hobbies and interests, helping me break the ice. I thought I would be awkward around so many new people, but Chloe's friends were warm without being overbearing. I found myself actually having a good time. I started to relax. I turned to look at Chloe and found her already looking at me. Her gaze so focused and intense it was as if I was the only person in the room. For some reason, my heart skipped a beat. After dinner, Chloe and I said our goodbyes and left. But the moment we stepped out of the hotel, we saw Scarlett. She rushed over, and when she saw me holding Chloe's hand, the panicked, guilty look in her eyes turned to rage. Ethan, I know you married her to get back at me, but you don't have to be so intimate with her. You know I hate it when you're like this with other women. I cut her off, my voice cold as ice. Don't be so delusional. Why on earth would you think I still have feelings for you, after you cheated on me with Leo and spent years tormenting me for his sake? You disgust me. Scarlett quickly tried to explain. I swear, I didn't cheat on you. We only went to the hotel because he spilled something on his clothes. Nothing happened between us, and I don't have any disease. All those times I helped him, it was only because he was tricking me. I have never had feelings for him. I'm sorry. I know I broke your heart, and that's why you married someone else, to punish me. But I know the truth now. I'll cut him out of my life completely. You've punished me enough. It's time for you to get a divorce and come back to me. She reached for my arm again, but I yanked it away. Just give it up, Scarlett. I don't love you anymore, I said. I have a wife now. The only relationship we have is plaintiff and defendant. Her eyes turned red. I get it. You're just saying that because you're disappointed that I'm still protecting Leo. But he saved my life. I can't just turn my back on him. Besides, all his lies ended up hurting him more than you, didn't they? Why can't you just let it go? Maya and her bodyguards beat him so badly he's disfigured, with broken ribs. He's still lying in a hospital bed, unable to move. Hasn't he suffered enough? Just 1 month ago, I had been torn apart by my love and hate for her, driven to the point of despair. Now, all I could think was how I could have been so blind as to ever love a person like this. If you can't understand plain English, then there's nothing more to say. I didn't even look at her. I just took Chloe's hand. Let's go, honey. The words slipped out before I realized it, and I felt a flush of embarrassment. Thankfully, Chloe didn't tease me. She just squeezed my hand and said softly, "Okay, Ethan, how can you call her that?" Scarlett cried, her face ashen as she tried to follow us. We've known each other for 25 years. We were together for 7. You can't just throw all that away and fall in love with someone else, right, Ethan? But a single glance from Chloe was enough for the bodyguards to block her path. For the next few weeks, Scarlett kept trying to approach me, but the bodyguards always intercepted her. She finally seemed to realize that I hadn't married Chloe just to spite her. I had truly moved on. That's when she really started to panic. Even with the bodyguards holding her back, she screamed at me, losing all composure. "I'm sorry, Ethan. Everything was my fault, but it was only because Leo tricked me. I never meant to hurt you. He saved my life. I couldn't just betray him, but I swear, I'm done with him now. From now on, I'll never believe anyone who says a bad word against you. Please just give me one more chance. I'm begging you, Ethan." Scarlett had always seemed gentle and approachable, but underneath it all, she was proud and had never truly humbled herself before anyone. This was the first time she had ever genuinely apologized to me, the first time she had ever begged for my forgiveness. But it didn't matter to me anymore. Still, Scarlett refused to give up and continued to harass me. As long as I ignored her, there was nothing she could do. But Maya was different. She had always been one for grand, dramatic gestures. One evening, as I was helping Chloe out of the car for a gala, I saw her kneeling on the pavement. A crowd had gathered, filming her with their phones. Her face was bright red with humiliation, but she remained kneeling. "Ethan, I was a brain-dead idiot," she called out. "I believed that bastard Leo's lies, and I misunderstood you and hurt you for 3 years. I was stupid and cruel, and I'm so sorry. You have every right to hate me, but I always thought of you as my real brother. Please don't ignore me, yell at me, hit me, do whatever you want to get your revenge. Just please, talk to me." She screamed her apology, her voice raw. I paid her no mind, so she began to crawl towards me on her knees. "Ethan, please, acknowledge me. Are you afraid to dirty your hands on me? Fine. I'll do it myself. She started slapping her own face over and over until her cheeks were red and swollen. I didn't give her a second glance as I walked into the hotel with Chloe. When we left hours later, she was still there, kneeling on the cold ground. When I got home, she was kneeling outside my front door. Scarlett had harassed me for weeks, and now Maya had been putting on this display for just as long. Even the strongest person couldn't endure that kind of abuse. She eventually collapsed and was taken to the hospital. Her parents called and asked me to visit her in the hospital. I refused. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Caldwell, along with Scarlett's mother, came to my house. I could go the rest of my life without ever speaking to Scarlett or Maya again, but their parents had helped raise me. I couldn't just ignore them. Ethan, Mrs. Caldwell began, we've heard about what happened with you, Maya and Scarlett. We know it was their fault. You have every right to hate them, to never speak to them again. But please, can you drop the lawsuit? If they go to jail, their lives will be ruined. Yes, Mrs. Preston added. No matter what happened, it shouldn't have to come to this. You three grew up together, you were like family. We're begging you, for the sake of everything we've done for you, please show them some mercy. Don't be so cruel. They went on and on, not giving me a chance to speak. I waited until they had finished. Mr. and Mrs. Caldwell, Mrs. Preston, you were always very good to me, and I have never forgotten your kindness. That is the only reason I've kept my family and my wife's family from retaliating against you. And I want you to know, I saved Maya's and Scarlett's lives. In return, Maya kicked me into a pool and left me to drown. I haven't even begun to address all the other things Scarlett did to me. The fact that I'm not pressing more charges is a testament to how much I valued our past. The parents left with heavy sighs. 2 days later, we were in court. Leo had a long, angry scar across his face, and he was pale and walked with a limp. Maya glared at him and lunged, trying to attack him right there in the courtroom. Even with the bailiffs and Scarlett holding her back, she still managed to land a few kicks. Scarlett, trying to shield Leo, ended up with a few slaps and several dirty shoe prints on her designer pants for her trouble. But she ignored her disheveled appearance and called out to me across the room. Ethan, I'm only protecting him because he saved my life. I don't have feelings for him, I swear. Maya screamed at her. You're a moron. You still believe that liar saved you? You idiot. No wonder Ethan doesn't want you. A fool like you and a bastard like him are perfect for each other. You never deserved Ethan. I must have been insane to ever think you were good for him. The trial concluded. Maya was sentenced to 18 months, while Scarlett and Leo each got 2 years. They were also ordered to pay me $1 million in damages. As they were led away, Leo was wailing. It's not fair. He got the credit for the designs in the end, and I'm the one everyone hates online. He didn't lose anything. Why do I have to go to jail? But his protests were useless as he was escorted out. Maya looked at me and said, I deserve this. Don't you dare feel bad for me. Scarlett looked at me with lovesick eyes. I'm sorry, Ethan. I owe you this. I'm willing to do my time, as long as it makes you feel better. I ignored them both and walked out of the courthouse with Chloe. She was incredibly disciplined, sticking to her physical therapy regimen no matter how busy or exhausted she was. But one day, after a particularly grueling session, she came to find me. Honey, she asked, her voice small, can you give me a hug? What's wrong? Therapy was just a little painful today. Your doctor told me you've been pushing yourself harder than anyone. You don't have to rush your recovery, you know? I have to, she insisted. I want to get better as soon as possible, so you won't have to be alone anymore. And so I can take care of you. We hadn't known each other that long, and I still wasn't entirely used to this level of physical intimacy. But Chloe was so good to me, I couldn't say no to such a simple request. I walked over and put my arms around her. The moment I did, her whole body went rigid. She was even more nervous than I was. I couldn't help but let out a small laugh, and just like that, the awkwardness vanished. Don't laugh at me, she mumbled into my chest, hugging me tighter. I've had a crush on you for 10 years. I finally married my dream guy, and now I'm actually hugging him. This is a perfectly normal reaction. It was the first time anyone had ever called me their dream guy to my face. I stopped laughing, a warmth spreading across my cheeks. After that day, she started asking for hugs more and more often. At first, she was still shy and hesitant, and I was still a little awkward. But eventually, it became our new normal. As she got stronger and stopped using the wheelchair, she would often sit on my lap with her arms around my neck, and it felt completely natural. It wasn't until her cousin, Bella, walked in on us one day and backed out of the room, blushing and apologizing profusely, that I realized just how comfortable and intimate we had become. I stood up, flustered. No, it's fine, come in. Did you need something? Yeah. Grandpa and Grandma just got back from their trip. They brought back a bunch of gifts for you too, but they're resting, so they sent me." Bella had the staff bring in the gifts. As she was leaving, she winked at me. "You know, Chloe is always posting about you on Facebook, but you never like or comment." We were all starting to worry. "But after seeing you two just now, I can tell everything is just fine." "She does." I opened Chloe's Facebook profile on my phone, but it was completely blank. "Yes, she does," Bella insisted, pulling out her own phone. "Look, my husband wore the custom suit I bought him today and turned every head in the room. Men and women were staring. Jealous? You can be, but he's still my husband." The post was accompanied by several pictures of me in the suit. Another post read, "My husband is sunbathing after feeding the koi. The light hits his face just right, he's practically glowing. How did I get so lucky to marry such a handsome man?" It was a picture of me relaxing on the lounge chair. It's winter break. I remember seeing my husband for the first time on my way home from school during winter break in the 7th grade. It was love at first sight. All these years later, my dream guy is my husband. I'm the luckiest woman in the world. The post included photos of me from middle school through college, and a recent one from her grandfather's birthday party. When had she taken all these pictures of me? I was about to scroll further when a delicate hand reached over and snatched the phone away. I turned to see Chloe, her face bright red. "Stop looking," she mumbled. "Why did you hide all these posts from me?" "I was afraid you'd think I was annoying," she whispered, barely looking at me. "I'm not annoyed," I said. "A little embarrassed, maybe, but I don't hate it." Her posture straightened, and her voice was suddenly much stronger. "Really, don't hide your posts from me anymore." "Okay." Bella started catcalling from the doorway, and Chloe shot her a blushing glare, which only made her laugh harder. 6 months later, Chloe told me it was time for our honeymoon. That night was the first time we shared a room. She came out of the bathroom wearing only a towel, her skin still glistening with water. Droplets trickled down her collarbone and disappeared beneath the terry cloth. As she walked toward the bed, the towel slipped a little lower. We had grown very close over the past 6 months. She would often sit in my lap and we would kiss. But this was the first time she had ever been so exposed in front of me. I took one look and felt my ears start to burn. "Let's get some sleep." "Good night," I said quickly, pulling back the covers to get into bed. But I wasn't fast enough. She slipped into my arms, tilted her head back, and pouted. "Don't you think I'm pretty, honey?" I had no choice but to look at her. Her hair was still damp from the shower, her eyes seemed to shimmer, and her lips were a deep, inviting red. She looked like a beautiful siren. Her intense gaze made my heart pound in my chest, and my hand, resting on her waist, grew clammy. "You're beautiful," I managed to say. "Then why won't you look at me?" she whispered, biting her lower lip. "Please, just look at me." No man on earth could have resisted her in that moment. I leaned down and kissed her. A year and a half later, Chloe was pregnant. One morning, as she was suffering from another bout of morning sickness, our housekeeper called to me. "Mr. Wright, there's a strange woman outside. Should I have security remove her?" I glanced out the window. She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her at first. Then I realized it was Maya. She was out of prison. She was so thin and her hair was cut short. She looked nothing like she used to. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. "Ethan," I looked away and told the housekeeper, "just ignore her." No one paid her any attention, but she came back every day, looking more and more dejected. Whenever I had to leave the house, she would be there, kneeling in the driveway, repenting. "I've spent the last year and a half thinking about what I did," she would say. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry. I never should have believed Leo over you. I never should have hurt you for him. I regret it more than anything. Not a day has gone by that I haven't regretted it. Whether you believe me or not, I always thought of you as my little brother. I can accept that you're married now, that you want to keep your distance. I'll do anything to atone for what I did, but please just talk to me. I can't bear you treating me like an enemy." I looked down at her and said calmly, 3 years ago, I nearly drowned saving you and Scarlett. I've been terrified of water ever since. And you kicked me into a pool and watched me sink. If you were in my shoes, could you forgive yourself?" She looked at me, her face contorted in pain. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak, but no words came out. Her eyes filled with bloodshot veins, and tears streamed down her face. I just watched her coldly. "If you have any conscience at all, you'll stop coming here. Not every sorry deserves a you're forgiven." Chloe had finished being sick, so I helped her into the car for her prenatal appointment. As we drove away, I could hear the sound of heartbreaking sobs from outside. Maya didn't come back, but a few days later, her mother called me, crying. "Ethan, Maya tried to kill herself. They just managed to save her. Can you please come see her? I'm begging you. I didn't say yes or no. I just said, I keep thinking all those years ago, when Maya tried to kill herself to make me stay, if I had just gone home with my parents then, would any of this have ever happened? Mrs. Caldwell didn't say anything else. She just hung up, sobbing. The day Leo and Scarlett were released from prison was the same day my son was born. I had arranged for someone to keep an eye on Leo, planning my revenge for when he got out. But before I had a chance to do anything, he was beaten nearly to death by a group of thugs on the day of his release. A week later, he fell into a pond and almost drowned. 2 weeks after that, videos of him with various unattractive women appeared on porn sites. A month later, he accidentally fell down a flight of stairs and was left paralyzed from the waist down. Leo called the police and Maya was arrested. She was sentenced to 10 years. She had once been a rising star, and now she was going back to prison for assault right after being released. The media went into a frenzy. Maya faced the cameras perfectly calm. I spent years hurting my brother because of that bastard's lies. I had to get justice for him. For every lie that monster told about my brother, I made it his reality. He got exactly what he deserved. I saw the interview, but I turned it off after a few seconds. While Scarlett was in prison, her mother had brought her illegitimate son into the family business, giving him Scarlett's position. Since her release, she had been locked in a bitter power struggle with him. It was only after Maya paralyzed Leo that she came to find me, furious. Yes, we all wronged you, but we went to prison for it. We've paid our debt. Why won't you just leave Leo alone? He hurt you, yes, but he also saved my life and Maya's. You turned Maya against him, made her betray our savior and cripple him. Don't you think you've gone too far? I watched her hysterical rant, feeling nothing at all. First of all, I never told Maya to do anything. Second, why don't you open your eyes and see who really saved you? I pulled up a link the PI had sent me and showed it to her. It was a small, local news article from 3 years ago about a heroic rescue during the flash flood. And there, in one of the photos, was a picture of me, pulling an unconscious Scarlett from the water. The story had never gotten any traction. The PI had only found it by chance. If I wasn't so sick of her harassing me, I never would have bothered showing it to her. Scarlett stared at the photo, her body going limp as if her strings had been cut. She sank to the floor. How can this be? She whispered. Leo said he was the one who saved me. He said you ran away. Why would he lie about that too? How could he make such a fool out of me? I ignored her and turned to leave, but she scrambled to her feet and ran after me. I'm sorry, Ethan. It was all Leo's lies. It was all my fault. You have every right to hate me, but I regret it so much now. I'll make it up to you, I swear. Please, just come back to me. Honey, the baby's crying, Chloe's voice called from inside. We had a nanny, and both my parents and my in-laws were visiting. It was never my turn to get the baby. She was clearly doing it on purpose, but I played along. Coming, I called back. Scarlett looked like she had been physically struck. You have a child? With her? Ethan, after everything we had, you can just throw it all away. Think about everything you've done, I said, and then ask yourself that question again. Don't you see how ridiculous you sound? But it wasn't my fault. I was tricked, she sobbed, covering her face as tears streamed through her fingers. I didn't spare her another glance and had the bodyguards remove her. Not long after that, Leo, paralyzed and alone, starved to death in his apartment. Scarlett was apparently with him when he died. I heard she had a complete mental breakdown and her mother had her committed. I heard the news on the day of my son's 100-day celebration. Giving birth is so painful and dangerous, I said to Chloe later, holding our son. Don't listen to our parents. We're not having any more. I kissed her, my heart aching for what she had gone through. She had suffered so much during the delivery. People joked that while childbirth often took a toll on a woman's appearance, it had only made Chloe more beautiful, giving her a new kind of allure. But all I could feel was sympathy for her pain. Whatever my husband says, she murmured. Good girl, I whispered back. They say that when things are at their worst, they can only get better. It seemed my bad luck had finally run out.